Hi guys, today I want to show you how I made an hybrid trailer track. Let's have a look. As you can hear, the main part is made by the bass line. The bass is made by a plugin called Evolve from Heaviosity, and without processing, it sounds like this. The main character of this sound is the high frequencies, where you can hear actually the string playing on the real bass, which are very good to hear. Okay, so the basic processing I made inside this sound is applying a multiband compressor, the OTT, very popular, this plugin. I know that everybody knows this, and if you don't, download it, it's free, it's from Xfer Records. What it does basically is bringing up all these background noise, all these the sound, these frequencies that are below the main sound, and push it above and making it more powerful. Let's have a listen within and without. This is without. And this is within. The depth of the plugin is around 44%, is not 100. If I put 100, you can hear the difference. The difference is quite strong. But I want to blend it more with the dry sound so that the difference is not so strong, okay? Then I applied some equalization to cut the low frequencies, the very low frequencies and the very high end frequencies, bringing up a little bit of 5 kilohertz to where the actual strings, the noise of the strings are, as you can see. Okay, I clean up a little bit the bass, these mid bass frequencies where the typical box sound, the boxy sound is. As you can hear, is not so good. So I tend to typically lower a little bit, is around 300 Hz, 130, okay? Then I applied this FabFilter Saturn, which is a saturator. Basically, what it does it brings up more, even more, the high frequencies. As you can see, the low and the mid frequencies is mute. So as you can see here, it is actually not working as processing, but only the mid-high and very high-end frequencies, where I applied a little bit of distortion, and the main mix level is around 40%, so that the distortion is not applied to the whole sound as the main plugin going through, but is blended, as I said before, with the dry signal, so that it can fit more in a non-aggressive way, because otherwise it's too strong to control. Then the channel of the bass goes into a main bus, where I applied even more processing, a multiband compressor, a parametric EQ, another multiband compressor, and finally a limiter, just to keep everything controlled by itself. Let's have a listen to the bass with the final processing. This is before, and this is with the effect. The real interesting part is when the distortion comes in. And the difference is very strong, okay? The distortion is applied from the plugin itself, and I use the lo-fi, which actually destroy the signal, making it distorted, okay? The bit depth is around 4, okay? After that, I layered the bass with another bass sound, making the high frequencies the top end of the bass, which in the original one is not so strong. So that the sub bass is coming from the original one. And the second one covers just the mid and high frequencies of the bass. After that, I layered the sound with another one, but actually it's not a bass sound, it's just a synth in a higher pitch. The sound is coming from the flex, 2 flex actually. So that blended with the bass, this is the sound. So in the beginning, we have just the bass. Then I start introducing, after a few patterns, the second layer of the bass and the first layer of the synth, which is this one. Then when the first layer of the synth is all the way open, I decided to put another layer, but just after the first section of the part, when the drums come in, to reinforce the whole project, playing the same melody on a higher pitch, even more. So both the synth are processed into the main bus, and both the synth are processed by a single OTT for both, and the main OTT. So here I quite abused the OTT. What I did is applying the OTT and a distortion. This is distortion and is free as well. Just Google it and you will find it immediately. I control the sound with an equalization, cutting all the low frequencies and keeping intact the mid, and cutting around 4K, because this is a really bad frequencies, is where the typical ring note, the ringing sound comes to your ear and destroy your mix. So I tend always in the synth, just in the synth, to cut always this part a little bit, a few decibel. In this case, it's quite strong, is 7.5 decibel, because I applied a distortion before that brings a lot of bad harmonic inside. And then a multiband compressor, but this is working just in sidechain mode. I will show you later. And both the synth sound goes to a main bus where I put it another OTT. Try to never use OTT at 100% because the sound is too strong in the mix and it's not so good. But if you blend it a little bit with the dry signal, it becomes very pleasant and very, very enjoyable. Okay, after the synth, I want to show you the drum part. The drum part is not so processed, but makes this song an action trailer track for action video games, something that is very aggressive, where you need an aggressive music for aggressive video. This is the purpose of this song. For this drum set, the snare and the hi-hat and crash, I used the Drum Lab. Okay, is a library for the Contact. It's quite good, but nothing too special. Okay, but it sound quite good. Okay, let's have a listen just to this. So, to process this plugin, I can't split all the different single instrument to a single mixer channel. So what I did is controlling the main frequencies band with the dynamic EQ from Pro Q3, from FibeFilter, because without using the dynamic equalization, the problem is that this curve will be applied to the whole signal always, destroying the sound. But with dynamic EQ, what you can do is lowering or expanding that band of frequency just when the peak comes in. As you can see, after the Pro Q3, I applied a multiband compression controlling the low-mid frequencies, as you can see here. So what it does is it controls the mid frequencies, lowering a little bit this part, which is full of noise inside, but they are in expand mode, as you can see here. So that when the sound play, they goes up. But when the sound stop playing, it immediately go down, so that all the decay of the sound and all the noise inside this sound, they are just lowered a little bit so that they fit better in the mix. After that, I applied another equalization, bringing up a little bit the low end and cutting a little bit more the mid frequencies, because in the drum set they make a lot of noise and you always need to cut a little bit of these frequencies. Another interesting thing I did inside this project is multiband sidechain compression controlled by this drum set. Okay, for example, the bass is controlled by the drum. Okay, so this is the channel of the bass, and this is its multiband compression. And as you can see here, I applied the external mode using the sidechain processing inside FL Studio, coming from the drums, so that when the drums play, this multiband compression read the signal coming from the drums and start controlling the dynamic. And you can control way better the whole dynamic of the track. This is a trick that I really suggest you because it's quite strong. It's way better than the typical sidechaining mode where you sidechain the whole signal, and you can do it with just the typical limiter. But reducing the volume of the whole signal, you reduce the volume of the whole band from the high end to the low end frequencies. But sometimes you just want to keep the high frequencies there because they fit well in the mix and they make the transient of the sound more hearable. And if you cut it, you destroy this transient, so you will not listen to this sound anymore when it starts. Let's have a look now to the impact section of the track. As you can see here, these are all impact sound. They are a lot, I know. And all together they sound like this. A cool trick you can do making your own impact sound is adding this glitch sound. It makes the sound really more interesting and more original than just booming around and not just repeating the same boom sound because it becomes immediately boring. And in trailer music you have to put always every few seconds a new element to keep the attention. You don't really hear the different, but it makes the different. So this part, this section, this white section is just white noise, nothing special. In the last part of this project, I made an evolution. What I like of this part is that I made a pulsing sound using just a kick drum. Coming from the Flex, it's a 808 bass. This is perfect for making hardcore music. Okay, I blended this sound with another layer. And with a little bit of melody in the background, making the mood. As I said before, you need to change your music, to introduce new element every time. Another trick you can do in your track is adding the brass sound, which are typically called the brams. Which are this kind of sound, making like that something bad is happening, okay? As they are very strong and they are very used in the trailer music song. And then I added a clock sound to build tension. And all together they sound like this. And this is with all sound. Lastly, what you can do for finishing your song is after you build up all your tension, all your stuff, and you close with just a boom, don't finish the song in this way. Add another boom. It's like the title end appearing, you know, like the final logo of the movie coming in front of you and saying coming soon or out today or tomorrow, or just the logo of the product, okay? Like the name of the video game. Video maker usually love this kind of stuff, and if you don't put this kind of stuff in your music, they will for sure ask for this, where they can build the video or the transition from one scene to another scene, like this one or this one or even this one. If you don't put this transition part, they will ask you for it for sure. Okay, I think I've shown you everything from this project. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my channel and leave the comment below if you want to criticize or just to ask me something or you just want to talk with me. Ciao!